stand, gonna find a way to change the game. You tell me that I should stay, trust what you say, and that it's all okay. But everything starts to feel like a con, and I'm the pawn. Am I right or wrong?
This week we're heading up to Alberta for some amazing elk and mule deer hunting with Red Willow Outfitters. Now I'm accompanied by my wife Sharon and my good friend Donnie. And this week was filled with plenty of highs and plenty of lows, but also a lot of laughs. Now what makes this elk hunt so cool is that each one of us were toting our own camera. So you literally get to see this bull from every angle. From there, I go ahead and test my skills in these huge canola fields on some giant muley bucks. Tell you what, Red Willow Outfitters up here in Alberta, it's been an unbelievable week. We were up here elk calling this morning, just unbelievable country, huge grain fields. There was this light fog that was rolling through, just a real purple sunrise. And we weren't hearing any elk. We thought we heard one bugle far away, but we weren't hearing any elk, so we decided to back out. We had the vehicle parked right around the corner, and we're literally right to the approach over here. And I looked back to my wife just to say, you know, I don't think we've seen anything because of the fog, and I was just kind of motioning like this back towards the field, and I look and I see a bull stepped out of the timber. He's out there maybe 300 yards, so it was a mad scramble. We were standing right in the open right here. The closest thing Sharon and I could get to was we got behind that white grain house right there, or maybe it's an operation house, and the grain bins, and we sent the caller over behind these fuel tanks. Knock on TV is also brought to you by Under Armour, Yamaha Outdoors, and Nikon, the leader in sport optics. Now after seeing the penetration on that first shot, I was a little bit concerned, so I quickly reloaded and got ready for a follow-up shot. Just got my Alberta bull elk. Perfect shot. This week on Dead Center, what I'd like to talk about is the importance of a rangefinder. Although this may completely seem obvious as a tech tip, I still know huge numbers of hunters that have not invested in a rangefinder. I'm here to tell you that a rangefinder, when it comes to the accuracy of your archery equipment, is the single most important electronic device you can invest in. Now, on that last hunt on my elk, obviously I was peeking around the building. I was confirming my yardage the entire time the elk was coming in, because if that elk got to the point where he was getting ready to booger off, I wanted to know the yardage so that I could quickly pull back and make a shot. Now once I made that first shot and I realized that he wasn't immediately going down, the next thing I did was throw my rangefinder on him, get a yardage, adjusted my sight so that I can make a follow-up shot and put that elk down immediately. For a lot of guys, if you have that opportunity for that follow-up shot, you better take it. And if you can confirm an exact yardage, then you're gonna definitely be more effective and more successful. Knock on. Cold, babe?
Yeah.
We got our elk. Let's go look at this bull. There's some tines sticking out of the right here. Look at this. Perfect trail. Perfect trail. Alberta 5x5. Wow. Yeah, this is awesome right here. Up here in Alberta. Man, what a beautiful 5x5 right here. Up here in Alberta, Red Willow Outfitters. I'm always hunting with my man Donnie from Living for the Rut. And man, we do great together. He's a good caller. We've had so much success together, and this is no different right here. Just a perfect bull elk. It's August 29th, the 29th of August, and I'm up here calling in elk in Alberta. And you know, 2 days ago I shot a 170-inch mule deer 3x4, and here we are 2 days later, and I've got a nice 5x5 bull right here. Hoyt Alpha Max, got my Sherlock sight. Tell you what, you know, if you know the distance, you dial it in and this thing's gonna deliver that arrow, I'll guarantee you. Got the tracer nocks, and I could not be more excited about a bull elk in August. Some grass. Closed captioning provided by Trophy Taker, the maker of the world's best fall-away arrow rest and the Shuttle T-Lock broadhead.
Nej, men jag kan inte finna den där spot.
Yep. Right through the middle?
Not exactly, but in the soft part.
That's good enough for me, John.
Yeah, that's in the vitals. Yeah. Right through the heart. Down here in Illinois, midday, getting a little target practice in. Thought I'd check my 100-yard mark. Matthews down there. That's the Matthews. This was the Hoyt Alpha Max. Just so you know. Rip the internal giblets out of that thing.
Great achievements have a way of creating even greater expectations, especially when the achievements are greatly unexpected, like an uncompromisingly rugged hunting binocular built to defy the elements, yet whose high-resolution optics also defy dawn and dusk. The all-new ProStaff 7, Outdoor Life's great buy for 2011. It's what you'd expect from Nikon at a value that is unexpected.
The world can be a tough place. That's why you need a side-by-side that's even tougher. The 2012 Rhino 700 Fi from Yamaha. The toughest, most off-road capable side-by-side out there. Rhino. Real world tough.
Let's rewind 2 days earlier when I found a giant muley buck bedded out in the middle of this huge canola field. This week we're going to talk about the importance of your hands, both your release hand and your bow hand, because I can promise you with archery, it's always the small things that make the biggest difference. And I've had some top level archers that might be in a slump, and when I make them focus on the small details to their shooting form, it makes the biggest difference. And both your hands are super critical to the accuracy of your bow and arrow. Your bow hand is the first and the last thing to determine the flight path of that arrow, because it's the first thing to come in contact with your bow, and when the shot goes and the arrow and the bow goes forward, it's the last thing that's touching your bow. Likewise, your release hand is actually the first thing to determine the path of the arrow itself and the string. So both of these things have to be the same all the time. It's important that when it comes to your grip, you put it in a repeatable place each and every shot. Make sure that it goes right between the lifeline of your hand and your thumb bone. Right here in this placement is the perfect spot for a neutral grip. Don't choke it. Don't keep your hand extended open, because either choking it like this or keeping your hand extended uses muscle and it applies torque on the riser. Having a relaxed hand from your elbow forward, I mean, it should be totally relaxed. Let the weight of the bow pull against you. When I shoot, you can notice that my hand is fully relaxed. I don't have to go like this, and I don't have to white knuckle the bow. When it comes to your release aids, there's two different kinds on the market. There's a wrist strap release and also a handheld release like this. Now, both of these release aids are going to be the same yet different, because a handheld release is nice because, one, you can keep it attached to your bowstring, which I personally prefer. The other thing is it's operated by your thumb and not your index finger. If you have a problem with punching the trigger, then I can promise you sometimes something as easy as changing from using one finger to the other can fix that problem. For me, I used to punch index releases quite often, and when I switched to my thumb, I was able to convince myself that all I needed to do is apply my thumb to that trigger and pull my elbow back until the release fired. Now with an index finger, if you ever have had the anticipation on the trigger, then sometimes just changing releases could help out. Otherwise, if you prefer a wrist strap release, which I still do really like these, one thing that you can do to help your accuracy is get in the habit of curling your finger around the trigger and keep it in the same spot, but increase pressure by pulling your elbow straight behind you. Just envision yourself pulling that elbow straight to whatever object is directly behind you, and that's going to help that release go off without anticipation. Also, when it comes to your hands, an important thing to remember is make sure that your anchor point is consistent and repeatable. Now, whether you have a wrist strap release, you would want to put this knuckle right here directly at the base of your earlobe, because that lines everything up perfectly. I don't have enough time to explain why, but if you're in this place here, the path of your arrow and your string has great clearance on your face. Now, if you're shooting a handheld release aid, when you hold it, you'll notice it separates your index finger and your middle finger. And that V right there, that separation should be placed directly on your jawline. Your jawbone is right in between those two fingers. If you do that each and every shot and think about your anchor, get it solid, get it repeatable, make sure your bow hand is in the same spot and relaxed, then I can promise you it's going to greatly improve your accuracy. That's this week's tip. There you go. Everybody's human. I had that thing at 42 yards, shot, stood him up with an elk call, shot, and 10, maybe 10, 15 feet away from me, the only willow that was there. And when I first got in line, it was totally out of my way, and right when I shot, I just see it cut and flip, and I see my arrow just going crazy left. And I'm pretty sure we got a clean miss. So that was a good way to start. Sometimes a miss like that, well, it's actually a blessing in disguise. And for me, later on that evening, I was able to get even a better buck. Unfortunately, we didn't get it on camera, but we still got the camera on it for the recovery. Check it out. Get your bow and just shoot monster muleys.